your intuition, it rattles, man. You cannot hide from yourself.
The call of the universe is the language of the soul. You need to know how to communicate.
Have you ever been victimized by New Age spirituality?
We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting.
You're going to want to listen up.
I'm Megan, an intuitive life coach and Reiki master.
I'm Ryan, a professional astrologer, and we want to show you what spirituality is by talking about what it is not.
Con artist.
Yes.
Snake oil salesman.
There are so many susceptible people out there.
And then they're tainted. They're ruined. They don't want to come back to spirituality.
We still have a lot to learn, and we will humble ourselves and learn, I think, every freaking day. This is Clairannoyance,
a podcast of spiritual interference. Welcome back to another episode of life.
Life. It ain't easy. Oh, life. Do you remember Cleopatra? Cleopatra, coming at ya. Cleopatra,
I was literally going to sing that. When you said Cleopatra, that was the only thing I was going to be like,
I miss them. Like, they were like Disney Channel original concert, like baddies. Loved Cleopatra. Life, it ain't easy. Oh, life. Anyway, it's not easy, is it? Megan and I just caught up for like an hour. And that was honestly so sweet and needed, because normally we'll hop on here and be like, we'll talk later, we'll catch up later, and we never do. But
turns out we're going through something very similar.
And that's always the fucking case, actually. It's really funny. Like, our situations are so different, but like so similar. Like the primal themes are there. Housing, relationships, fucking friendships, fucking trust, loyalty.
You hoes ain't loyal.
You hoes.
If you have a hoe like Ryan and I, we do be loyal, but
we do be loyal.
That's but you guys just take advantage, especially if your astrological sign is that of a little critter.
If you're a critter.
If you're a little critter, darn sick of your nonsense.
God damn it. God damn it.
Darn it. And we're about a week as of recording out from the eclipse. So I'm just like, great. Okay, it's hitting in my third house, Pisces. What else? Okay, like I'm just.
Oh, dude. Ooh, I know. And how funny for that. But how funny is that? Okay, because I mean, it's like, I don't know. Eclipses. I'm not gonna say if is it good or bad, because they're always like unexpected and emotional, right? They're intense, and this one is, I think, like, because of the aspects it's making, it's not a perfect eclipse, but this is very relevant to the conversation. Like, I was actually thinking of today's topic because of this Pisces energy that's really big right now, and this is a very Piscean topic. But it's in your third house, neighborhood, revelation. Maybe so something can present itself for you, like, but there's also, it's the busy house, errands, like, shit I gotta get done right now.
So much shit that I've got to get done. And as I was just telling Ryan, like, we're like leases up, looking for an apartment, this lease fluctuation nonsense, which I feel like is criminal, because it's like, here, this apartment's $1,500. Okay, but today we just feel like the market's good, so it's going to be 17. Psych, here it is 19. Here it $2,000 a month, and it's like, what in the motherfuck? So and I'm almost paralyzed. I am someone who always takes action. There's so much on my plate right now that I'm just like,
that's very third house. It's the everything but the kitchen sink house. It's just all sorts of shit. It's just shit everywhere. Like all things. The concept of things is the third house.
I'm trying to sell my things. That is so. I literally the living room is filled with stuff that should be on Poshmark, and I take pictures, and I'm like, okay, like, list it.
Guarantee you, after the eclipse, you're going to start selling your things. I guarantee you, because the moon is full at that point, and then it's going to start fading in light, which is good for getting rid of things. And it's Pisces, so it's the end. It's a house of loss or giving out or whatever. So it's like, actually, I bet anything after this eclipse, you're going to totally start selling some stuff off. I would bet anything.
I'm trying not to pop off, because I want, like, I know when I'm heightened. Oh, I know.
Third house of communication. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, I want to tell you. Let me tell you what I think about you and how rude you are. I'm like, I know that's not going to go well. And then that's the thing, too. It's just, being the bigger person sometimes is just what I wouldn't pay to just be a petty Betty. Just
Betty Betty.
let me tell you.
These, I
But
need to start a
mm-mm.
mechanisms note. You have all these weird fucking like phrases. Like you have phrases that remind me of like a grandma named Madge should have, where you're like, what? Is that a thing people say? And it was a thing people said like 70 years ago. Oh, don't be
Bringing
a
it back.
petty Betty. Like, what the fuck, you old maid?
It's true. I want to be a petty Betty bad, but I'm like, no, because I got a responsibility and I know
Yeah.
better. And also, because I hit you in the throat, I'm not gonna be like,
Oh,
yeah,
it's the
yeah.
zesty petty Betty. Oh, yeah, okay. Has anybody seen the movie Thelma, by the way? Everybody should watch the movie
No.
Thelma. It's this like literal like 92-year-old woman. She's been an actress in a fuck ton of things, but never like a lead role. And this is her
Ooh.
first lead role as like a 92-year-old woman.
Oh,
And it's like it's hilarious and fun and adventurous and whatever. But also like poignant because it's about how old she is and like her friends are dying off and shit. And so she basically goes on this like crazy adventure around town, like on her fucking hover round. And she's like, literally, but she's like a baddie and she's like proving like she's still got life left to live at that age and shit. And like,
I love
people,
that.
yeah, it's an amazing movie. Everybody should seriously watch it. It's like so, so good. I bet it'll be like an
Selma.
Oscar contender. So good. So good. So anyway, do you ever feel like driving your car into oncoming traffic? Hard pivot.
Yes, all the time here recently. Literally, yeah. Mary Dell's in Costa Rica right now. And she's like, what's been going on? I've been trying to keep this week shit show to a minimum. And so she sends this picture and she was May we both have the greatest day. I was like, listen, I love you so much and I want you to enjoy your vacation, but I'm in the literal midst of hell right now trying to dig through. So like, I'm not trying to spoil your good, sweet time, you sweet angel baby, but I will not be having a good day today. And then I had like, and she's just trying to she's on a swing, and I'm like, I actually am trying to actively stop myself from face diving off my third floor balcony.
Okay, how relevant to this fucking week's theme here, the call of the void? Do you want to know? This is okay, so this is funny because I've been saving since we started this podcast. The void is such a funny topic in the spiritual community. There's hella memes about it. So I'm actually excited to like post some fucking void memes because they're such funny ones. But it's a very
Drop the
serious
ball.
topic because the void is like that like existential, nihilistic, even like nothingness of outer space and whatever's after this, like the void. You know what I mean? It's sort of like the godless all there is. That's how it feels. It's just that thing that's just empty and out there and what
Yeah.
is kind of like the afterlife, but it doesn't feel full of life. That's always been my view of the void, but there's actually something called the call of the void, and it is a actual real psychological phenomenon, which is it's unanticipated thoughts related to placing yourself in imminent danger. And it's a feeling or a belief, usually very out of character for you. And it often involves like the most common ones are thoughts of like you're on a high ledge and you think about like, what if I just leapt off? Or you're driving and you think, what if I just drove my car into oncoming traffic? So it's like an intrusive thought, you know what I mean, in that sense, but it's a little more conscious. You kind of like ponder it and it's
Yeah.
dangerous. So it's like my intrusive thoughts. I remember like I remember the first time I really noticed I had intrusive thoughts, and it was like when I was like in elementary school, I think. And I just would think about like, what if I just ran up to the front of the classroom and pulled my teacher's pants down? Like, that's like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't do that, but I'm not in danger. If I do that, I'm going to be in trouble. But like,
When I was in first grade, we went to Toronto and we were on, I think it's the Cedar Tower. And I had this little ring and I was like, what if I drop this? But I knew that if I dropped a penny and it hit someone in the head, like I think my
yeah,
dad, like it would kill them. And I was like, I could drop this little ring that was like, I'm 6, 7, and I could kill a man. Like, but I was like, put it back on your finger. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So, or I have this thing about like getting stabbed. Like I'm gonna go somewhere and like stab it. I don't know why. Like stabbing's so intimate, and I'd be like
Oh,
stabbing, and I'd
so
be like,
interesting.
it is. Like think about it. If someone stabs you, they got to get so close to you. Shooting,
So intimate.
it is.
Wow.
It's like a
That's
very
so
like
Ew.
I know.
Ew.
I don't know why, but I've had this like vision. I would like survive the stabbing and I'd come in. And it's weird. And I'm like, why are you thinking this, you psycho?
Yeah, that is really, I know, but okay, right. But you're not a psycho, number one. Number two, that's what this is. That's the void. And the void is Pisces, by the way, too. It's like that place where we transcend, whether you want to consider it heaven or hell or the void or whatever. But that's that space of like what is out there and it's indescribable. And
Mhm.
there's that ominous feeling to something like that. Like literally the thought of like, I could literally just drive my car into traffic right now and you seriously think about it. It's not something you want to do necessarily, right? And I'm saying that because
It is Pisces.
this is completely Pisces.
Pisces love sometimes to like all my Pisces, including me. I'm like, sometimes, bitch, you just like to be sad. You just
Yeah.
like to like you want to blare your sad motherfucking music and you want your little chin to quiver and like stop acting. And then it's like you create and then you but you got to get yourself out of that. That's the thing, is that so many will just stay there. It's like, no, no, no.
Yes, it can be such a problem, such a problem. I feel like you and Michaela McLean need to like talk more because Michaela's who I do. She was our
Yeah,
expert, our
beauty. Yeah.
beauty
I love
episode.
Michaela.
She has a podcast too, but she's also a Pisces, and like is very much like I think you guys have similar Piscean instincts of like you can be in those spaces, but the realization of needing to pull yourself out of it and like having a toolkit to do so big. Um, I think like I was thinking of it, because it's the Pisces eclipse. And so I think it's just like a feeling of like this like bigger, something bigger than you almost happening or whatever. But then also someone I know passed away. So then I was thinking of like morbid stuff, like, and not my grandma. I know I've like brought her up lately. I mean, someone else like very recently just passed away unexpectedly. And that, put me in an existential space. And so like I always think of the void in not a way that I think everybody always does. Like I think a lot of people do. I don't know, in a sad way. It's a sad way. So
Yeah.
I thought this was a relevant topic because it did have me thinking about like death and mortality. But I I was hesitant to put it on because I was like, oh, I don't want to like do a suicide episode. Like, I didn't want to do
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? But that's why I'm putting it on here actually, is because I need to let everybody know it is normal. The call of the void is a very normal experience and it is not linked to suicidal ideation. They are very different things.
Mhm.
And also, suicidal ideation, for what that's worth, I don't know the statistic offhand, but I know that that is like something that is a common experience too. People literally will think about that in a very realistic way at low points in their life or whatever. Like, what if I was gone? What if I wasn't here? Wouldn't it be easier?
Yeah.
It's okay if you're thinking that. I'm going to put a trigger warning on this episode. You get help, but we aren't talking about that. This is not an episode about suicide. It's going to go actually some really cool places. And if you're thinking this is morbid, I have to tell you, I have like the coolest, most hopeful ending to this possible. Like it is. I'm so excited about where this is going to end. But it's not linked to suicidal ideation because that tends to be a much more serious, conscious desire of
Yeah.
wanting to do that. This is not. It's like you can be conscious about it, you can be thinking about it and pondering it, but you're like, I don't want to drive my car into traffic. But what if I
No.
did? But what if I did?
Exactly. Like, who would
There's
miss
the
me? Who would be at my funeral? Like, what legacy did I leave? Am I dead? That's where, like, you should face your mortality daily because
Yeah.
each day you're closer to dying. So you should face that. You should look at it. You should think about it. And then you should get your ass into motion and make it happen. And that's what ticks me off the most is like when someone passes away, I'm like, I mean, I hope I live to 100, like a happy, healthy 100, where I'm like doing what that move, that Thelma, like I hope I'm just rootin' tooting around town doing all sorts of weird stuff at 100. But if I were to get, if it was time for me to go, would I be pleased with the mark I made? No, and that's like part of that.
really.
Yeah, I mean, because there's so much more I want to do.
Yeah, no, there's more I want to do for damn sure. I think I would be pleased though with what I've done. I think I'd be like, well, no, it wasn't everything I wanted to do, but like I don't I would feel good. I would feel
I don't
like,
think I'll
well,
ever.
if
I don't
that's the
think.
timeline, then okay. Like, but I
Yeah,
did what I could.
I don't think I'll ever feel like even at 100. I'll be like,
That's
there's
good.
more. Yeah,
I think
like
that's
there's
good.
more, like more of a mark I wanted to make.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, have the goals. Yeah, like I definitely think you should continue to be striving for more and growing and whatever. And that ties into this very nicely. So anyway, before I jump off the suicide thing, I'm not just saying that like
Choose
because
life.
I decided
You
that
matter.
choose life.
We love
No,
you.
yeah. and this has been studied, like
Yeah.
to have these, I don't know, like I'm imagining like Petty Betty, who stumbles upon our podcast in like, I don't, Wyoming or something, and she's isolated all on her own and she doesn't know
Oh,
anything. And maybe she's having these thoughts by herself and doesn't know the difference or whatever. So I want to like just make this clear. And it's been studied. The first like legit study about this was in 2012. It's been studied numerous times since. So it is not the same as suicide. So think about the void all you fucking want. And actually, you should, because it's an interesting paradox. Because you're thinking about death, right? You're thinking, I could just jump off. I could just fucking put myself in this path of danger that ends my fucking life. Because am I hearing the call of the void? Does the void want me? Am I supposed to die right now or something, right?
yeah.
But it's a paradox because it's really your subconscious trying to get you to appreciate the fact that you're alive. And that's the fucking point of it. It's like, I'm going to have this like fake brush with death so that I can like have that sense of relief and life afterward, which I think is really cool.
I think that I love that because also like even on like the worst day or the worst time period, it's like, you know what, this is still a blessing. I
Mhm.
get, like so many people would pay for my problems and not to diminish them, but it's like this is still great. So I love the fact that your subconscious is, no matter what, no matter how shitty it is, like you have something to be grateful for.
Yeah, that's what it does. That's literally like again, like studied shit here. There's this sense of relief that comes
Secret science.
with these moments. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
it's not just like science. Like this is going a very spiritual route too here. Okay, so
Yeah.
basically like there's a lot of things here, but it's like, why are we drawn to danger? That's essentially what's happening here. Yes, it's the call of the void, which is like this much bigger experience that I think we're feeling, especially in those much larger moments where you're like, I want to drive my car into traffic. But
Hmm.
otherwise there are like more like a lesser tier version of that still can be dangerous or like risk taking behavior, right? This is what I really want to talk about here is like that risk-taking behavior and how it's so frustrating because you don't like we're terrified of it. The fear comes into this, the idea of mortality comes into this shit, right? But
Hmm.
taking risks is the thing that leads you to personal growth. Like there's many
Yep.
ways you can put this. We're putting a specific framing on it right now because honestly, I think the call of the void just makes fucking sense. It is a little morbid right now, but whatever, we're wrong with it. But like it's like the same as going outside the box. Get outside the comfort zone.
Well, because your comfort zone will kill you. So of course,
Yes.
so what are these like? So I would rather take a risk and risk losing something, even if it is my life, because your comfort
Hmm.
zone, that is such a slow killer because it lulls you into a false state of security, and then it wastes the most valuable commodity you have, which is time. And I preach this non-motherfucking stop to
Yes.
anybody, my clients, friends, because it's like, okay, if you fail or if you break a leg, literally or figuratively, that's okay. I would
Mhm.
much rather say, what if, or I'm sorry, oh well, at the end of my life than what if. What if haunts me?
Yeah. It's even the philosophy of like die trying. You know what I mean? Like at
Yeah.
least you fucking went for it,
At
man.
least you tried.
Yeah. And you're bringing up some like really big themes that you're not even aware of. That is basically where I'm going to end this whole thing. But that idea of like the slow death and time being a resource and a commodity that we have right now, really big. So I will circle back to that at the end. It's so cool.
Mhm.
Um, but so I like that's kind of like a big thing here is like just this idea of like take more fucking risks right now. Like it's hard, it's not easy. Like, but those are where those big moments happen. The spiritual experiences, the personal growth happens there. But also in studying this, like this is that idea of a flow state, right? Like when you're in flow states is where you feel like I'm doing the right thing in the right moment and I can't like, and you feel part of something bigger than you, right? That's that
Mhm.
sense of the call of the void. I want to be part of this thing that's bigger. I want to be merging with the universe or whatever. Like that's what the call
Yeah.
of the void is. That's this concept of transcendence, of Pisces unity consciousness. But a flow state is most often achieved through risk activity. In a basic, like healthy sense, it's like extreme sports, art and performance, like being like terrified to like put yourself out there in a really big way. But when you do that, there's a loss of self that comes into the picture. You come out of it feeling like, oh my God, I was like incredibly engaged in that thing. And there's that feeling of like,
You're
I was
alive.
at one with this thing. That's that feeling of life. Yes. So
Mhm.
but it's not just going to happen to you sitting there. Like you got to fucking move. You got to like do
Yes.
something. Very hard though.
Yeah, and no. I feel like when you get to a certain point in life, when you're young, it's easy. And then also when you get to a point of, at least this is with me, where I like kind of disdain, where I'm like, well, fuck it. Like,
Mhm.
what's the best that could happen? I'm already feeling like this.
Yeah. You're like a
So,
risk. You're just a risk. Megan's just a walking fucking risk. Any activity or behavior or moment with Megan is a risk. So tread lightly. But
I
I'm kidding. I'm
can't.
kidding. No, but
Perhaps.
really, it's kind of like it's all your like Aries energy. Like it's crazy. You're a Pisces, so you're like the void's calling, but then your Aries energy's like, go, bitch. Like jump.
That's so true. It's like, let's be existential while taking action. Let's fucking do it.
Jesus Christ. I know, but I have to say, like, you're like, I think in a minority of people who are going to be way more likely to take a risk. You know, I mean, it's scary. Risks inherently are like a fear
Fun.
factor, you know?
This is getting me motivated. I've been in the funk. This talk is getting me motivated.
Yes, I
I'm like,
know. No,
you know
same,
what?
I
I need
know.
you can get out here and do something. I got to get out of this funk. I'm gonna take my own damn advice that I do, but this
Dude,
is
same though. It's like, and you
yeah,
feel that sense of like, see, okay, this is like meta now, even. I've literally been depressed this week. I'm so serious. Like, it's been like a bad
yeah,
fucking week. And
ditto.
that's so contemplating this topic. I was like, I don't want to sink deeper into it. You know what I mean? But I felt the calling to do the topic and started going into it. And then was like, oh, good. It's not like a suicidal ideation because I don't want to freak people out or anything. But like, and then as I was
Oh,
going through and
darling.
like really building all these notes that I had, I was like in that flow state, right? So like it's not like this is a huge risk putting this out there or anything necessarily, but I felt that flow state. I listened to the calling, faced this like deeper gross topic, realized it wasn't
Hmm.
as scary as I thought, and felt like part of a bigger message that I feel like we need to fucking put out. I think that's a
Yeah.
so it feels important to me. I think like this is really cool. So if you're looking for those flow state moments, which I think is really important, like I feel that when I'm talking astrology all the time, like I think I've said it before, but like that's when I feel like I'm channeling, like how
Hmm.
people are like, will channel like a psychic or a spirit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't channel that way, but like I definitely will be like staring at a person's birth chart and like talking to them about the planets. And I just got lost in this like story that I'm telling them, but I know it's like matters. I even
Yeah.
did like a interview on someone else's podcast once where I was like talking about astrology and like I like went on a whole tangent about it. When I was done, I don't know how much time passed or whatever, but when I was done, she just was like staring at me and she was like, what you just experienced was Ryan in this crazy like flow state. Like that all just like came out of him. And it's just true. You just experienced
Yeah.
that. And this is not weird. You can feel it with anything. If you play piano, if you play basketball, whatever the fuck it
Well,
is for you.
if you haven't felt this, then you need to go take a risk and you need to go put yourself out
Yeah,
there so you
you'll
can
find
feel it,
it.
because you are completely doing yourself a disservice to the life that you chose to be here in your
Mhm.
beautiful flesh suit. So get to moving. I want to see some scars on these souls. Let's chop chop. Get off TikTok unless you're watching mine.
Yeah. And I really want to, again, with the Pisces theme going on here, I really want to like make the distinction that it's not like getting lost, losing yourself in a book. Sure, reading is somewhat of an active activity because you're moving your fucking eyes and using your brain and you're awake, right? But I mean, like, this is like you're more movement, more activity must occur here. You're using something that is like a skill of yours, or you're like just have this natural desire that you choose to act on. I guess unless you're really getting a call to the void to like fucking read a book, man. Like, which maybe you will because I got a book recommendation that's coming at the end. Like I keep like
Mhm.
teasing the end of this, but like really, I don't know. Like I think that calling is going to usually be something that's more active because you're literally like participating and co-creating with life. A book is more passive. You're just experiencing it, even though you're reading, right?
Yeah.
So I don't
No,
mean like
get
that.
out there, reach out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want, you know what? I saw this thing about rejection sensitivity training where you like intentionally go and get rejected for 30 days.
Yeah.
And it makes and it
Terrifying.
yes, but I'm like so drawn to that because it's
Hmm.
so uncomfortable. And quite frankly though, if I've been uncomfortable for definitely the past 6 months, definitely the past like I'm just kind of approaching 40. I'm like, fuck it. Like, what's
Yeah.
like, let's ball.
And isn't that even like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I've seen like videos of people who just like will lie down on a fucking busy ass sidewalk in like the middle of New York. And that's them like having rejection training or something or doing like the weirdest things because they're like people are yelling at them. You know what I mean? So they're like learning what it's like to be like an unwanted person or something because they're just trying to get used to the fear of rejection. And I feel like watching videos like that or watching people do things like that or watching people in a flow state when you just know they're in that. I feel like that's isn't that another version of this call of the void? It's not the danger inherently of like driving your car into traffic, but there is that still dangerous feeling of like, I'm enamored by this person who just laid down in the middle of a fucking busy New York street. Like they're like people are yelling at them. Like what? I'm enamored. That's dangerous. That's scary. I want to do it, but that's terrifying to think about me doing that. You're almost like envisioning you doing it too, right? So I feel
Yeah.
like if you're I kind of want to say like in into like a little brief like moment of here's something to do, you guys. Do you have a flow state? What is that thing that gets you in that space? Can you incorporate it more in your life? If not daily, just like on a more routine basis. If not, or if, will you consciously notice when you are enamored by those situations of other people? Basically answering the call to the void.
I think enamorment by, that makes sense why in all my charts everyone says that I need to be careful of being a cult leader because I think I probably enamor people, not to be like cocky here, but because I just don't like so many people are like, I love how you don't give a fuck. Like you just get on here. Like the
Yeah.
podcast. I'm like, I wouldn't do this with you. I wouldn't waste everyone's time and ear space and you all this editing that you do if I wasn't gonna get on here and flap my fucking jaw recklessly about what life is about.
It's so true. And you never know who you're impacting. I had like it was like a couple weeks ago, I guess, a conversation with that person who just texted me weirdly enough. I can't believe I didn't like
Mhm.
make a bigger deal of this. I should have, and now I'm appreciating it. But we had this conversation. He asked me about my work and all sorts of things. And I was just like, it's like stressful. And honestly, I didn't have any good updates to tell him about anything that I was like doing, but it was a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, the podcast, obviously, but like I didn't have any updates there. It was like other things. And he literally complimented me. I mean, without that, he did. He complimented me and was like, well, you're more motivated than I am. I don't know how you're like able to do all that stuff. And like, there was that moment of him like appreciating that I was just putting myself out there and trying to start things, whether they're fucking working or not, like just doing it. You know what I mean? And he
Great.
appreciated it. And he's
It's
somebody that I look
great.
up to so much and think is like an incredible and
You know
accomplished
what?
person. And
Take
he,
it.
look at him
You
looking
guys
at me
need
that
to,
way.
everyone needs to give compliments,
Well,
like
yeah.
give compliments to people because you never know.
Yeah. Give
How,
compliments.
yeah, give compliments, authentic ones,
Yeah,
because that is
that's a
sweet.
scary thing too. Sometimes the people, if you like, especially if it's a stranger, like you love their jacket or something, some people are terrified of like
Oh
talking to a
no, yeah,
stranger.
that is. But like, you just gotta go and like give a smile. I've been smiling at people a lot, like just like with no reason. And it is so fun to watch because no one knows what to do. They're like,
Mhm.
they'll do a double take. Just go start smiling at people. Watch how your life is going to
Mhm.
change. They do this like
Yeah.
weird double take where they're like, is she smiling at me? I'm like, yeah, I'm smiling at you. And then they like come back and they don't know, like, I just keep walking. I ain't trying to get nothing. I'm just smiling.
Hmm. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Like we need
get it.
more of that. We need more of that. This is also making me, I'm actually just like weird. See, this is how the flow state fucking probably works too. I'm making weird fucking connections right now. This is called the call of the void.
Uh-huh.
What was our astrology theme this month? Call and response. I
Oh,
brought this up because of the Pisces full moon, which I said was probably like the calling. The void is
yeah.
calling right now. What is going on? So I'm feeling some like I literally have goosebumps actually like thinking about this. But then also like I want to say this connection, astrologically speaking, so like quick little astrology thing. I learned through the guy who taught me astrology that like hopes and fears, your greatest hopes and your greatest fears are the same. They are intimately intertwined. You just often have to like go through the fear of something to achieve like your greatest dream or your greatest hope and wish or whatever. Astrologically, this is really like interesting because there's the fourth house, there's this connection between the eighth house and the 11th house. Actually, I don't want to get too technical, but the eighth house is where you face your fears. And then it will like, when you do that, it jettisons you to the 11th house, which is where you receive a whole lot of really good things in your life. So like it's the house of hopes, wishes, and dreams. You like the path has to go through a fear. You're not just going to fucking get something handed to you. I mean, sure, maybe, but even if like you're a trust fund baby and you get handed like your life on a silver platter or whatever, that I'm going to guarantee that's not your soul's calling. That's not your soul's hopes, wishes, and dreams.
No.
There's something you want to do that you don't have. You know what I mean? That you are like feeling a bigger urge to take part in, you know?
The hopes, and that's so crazy because I'm so like goal driven, and so recently I've got this manifestation day planner that I'm like, what do I even want? Like I'm in this like, which is I'm having a hard time, like, so I was like, what am I scared of?
That's perfect.
What do I want? And I have had a very hard time this week quantifying like what I want, where I want to go. Like it's so interesting because I'm like, doesn't feel right anymore. Like I don't know. Like what do I want? And so I'm like, and so I got a little frustrated because normally I can like, and I have business goals and but the personal goals, and I'm like, I just need to kind of, chill my tits for a minute. I need to hang out and see, like, and really ponder this because I don't know. And I'm okay with it. And normally it did drive me a little bonkers, but I'm like, so every day I'm like, what do you want? Like, what do you want your life to look like? How do you want to feel? And I'm in such this unknown territory that I'm like,
I'm writing this down because I'm going to put in the show notes like some tangible action items for people. This is now going to be one of them. I actually love this. This is like what a killer exercise. So many people don't know what they want. I think now in the face of that, I'm literally never going to forget this. Now in the face of not knowing what the fuck you want, shift the question to what am I terrified of? Because you got to go through the fear to get what you want, right? So I feel like there's going to be a lot to uncover about what you want most if you first look at obviously what's holding you back. So that's really fascinating.
And right now it's like you have to sit here, and I am in such a state of fear. I mean, like when I tell you, I mean like paralyzing, and it's like, okay, like you just got to sit with this and not create stories. And that's the challenging thing about when you're in not so fun emotion like fear or anger or jealousy or sadness. These are all data points and they can tell you. So fear right now is like you slow down so you don't make any crazy decisions. Don't react. And so it's you're sitting here so uncomfortable. I mean, but then it's like, all right. Well, you cannot hide from yourself. I know I can't escape this fear. Like, I mean, my brother called yesterday trying to cheer me up, and I was like, no jokes. Like, he opened up with a joke, and he was like, well, it's a little too late. I was like, I find nothing funny today. And then, of course, that comment alone, we burst out into laughing, but I was so serious. I find nothing funny today. But just for today, tomorrow, which is now today,
that's fine.
I found a lot funny. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been laughing. This is really good shit, dude. Also, look at you saying that's a data point. Who's talking science now? I don't love it. I also want to make the distinction because I didn't make this in my notes, but that there I guess like this could be practice if you guys want to do this, but like this is not what I'm talking about. This is not answering the call of the void. There is a difference between entering like risky and dangerous situations that are controlled versus uncontrolled. So we're not talking about like, oh, you're scared of haunted houses, go in a haunted house. I'm not talking about that shit because you're going to come out fine. The feeling of relief afterwards is actually really strong and measured, like they've
Yeah.
studied that. But that's not it. We're not talking about those things that it's like, yeah, that's maybe a fear of yours, but it's like irrational because you know it's going to turn out fine. We are talking about like actual, like terrifying fears where there isn't certainty that it's going to be fine. That feeling of like jumping off the cliff, like, and trusting you're going to land on your feet rather than it being like a
You can
1,000 foot
go
fall or
cliff
whatever.
diving if you are attached to apparatuses. Do not jump off the fucking cliff. You're like, oh, well, God's got me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you set yourself up, but I even mean like, if you had a fear of like public speaking or something, right? Like, it'd be like starting a podcast, and the unknown or the uncertainty and the terrifying thing of it is like, what if nobody cares? You don't know. No, people might not fucking care. You might totally fall on your face in that instance, but the important thing is the following the call of the void and just doing it. And you will realize it wasn't as scary as you thought. Maybe it won't work out, but that you learn so much about yourself in that.
The price of admission is you got to be a beginner and you got to suck. Very rarely are people. I come across a savant. Like you have got to suck, and then you get better. You keep trying, and then you get better, and you like there. It's the competency confidence loop. If you want to develop confidence or competency, you've got to put yourself in the loop and try first.
I love that. I'm gonna put that in my notes so I make sure to write that. It makes me think of when, like, even when I was starting astrology, like at that point, no, I wasn't shit, but I didn't think I sucked, but I was terrified of it. I wanted to do it so bad. I wanted this to be my job, right? But I was terrified, and it took a lot of other people telling me, like, you just need to fucking do this already, Ryan, to do it. And once I did, what a relief. Oh, it started working. Like, I'm happier doing this than, my old line of work. Like, I just am. Like, there's downsides to it for sure, but like, whatever. Like, I did it. I faced that fear. I was just terrified. I was like terrified about being judged. I was terrified about literally, especially that. Like, what is everybody gonna think? Like, everybody's gonna think I fucking went crazy because now Ryan's an astrologer. Like, what is, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Like, it doesn't matter.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that like you're always being at any point, every day of every moment, you are always being judged. So if you're worried about being judged, you should know that you're already being judged. So I would much rather be despised for who I am than adored for who I'm not.
Dude.
So, so put yourself out there. Who cares? Because you're being judged right now. All the time.
Look at another fucking little synchronicity here. We talked about this in the astrology episode. Like, we're in Virgo season. What comes next? Libra, justice, judgment day. We know that judgment day is coming. So fucking do your shit now and be judged and let yourself face that. Who cares? Love this. Okay. So I also just wanted to say, like, I thought this was a cool point, is that like a lot of people are worried about taking these risks because they're worried about this idea of like destruction, like, and that it's chaotic, right? Like, this really ties into chaos theory, because you don't know, it's uncontrolled, these outcomes here, right? But disorder gives birth to new forms. Creative people literally are often channeling their darker, like crazier energies, like, like then they're throwing work out into the world and creation can happen through destruction. Destruction is a necessary part of creation. So like, I think that's an important thing here. Like, you're trying to change your life, you need to. And like, it's good to proactively do this, right? The co-creating with the universe idea, because also, what is Pisces? The sign of self-sabotage. This is where we self-sabotage. But self-sabotage, I actually like, this completely changed my perspective on it. Because it's such a shitty term. And typically, like, nobody wants to self-sabotage. Nobody wants that. And it often is like, honestly, really, really bad to like watch that happen or to go through it yourself.
Yeah.
But what self-sabotage is a subconscious call for change. You are destroying the life you have because it's not for you. And your soul, the void, is like, go, like, get the fuck, do this other thing now. Do something else. You need to change. So you're destroying the current life, whether you want to or not. So if your life is like disintegrating,
lean in.
Lean the fucking, not easy, but for sure. I don't really want to like spend time on the shadow work side of things, but this does play into Carl Jung's like shadow work bullshit. It's just such a hot
Mhm.
like everybody talks about shadow work, and we we
I
talked
know
about
we
that
should
on
do.
episode 1.
I know we should get some like shadow work,
I know.
self-proclaimed shadow work. You know what? The thing is that I would I would have a hard time being a myth buster because I don't want to be in the business of tearing some people down. But then
No,
I
I
watch
know.
some of these TikToks that I want to get you on. I want you to know that I'm about to eviscerate your soul for your fuckery and what you've done. Like I want to rip it out of your throat.
Well, and shadow work in the spiritual community is often like done and or talked about in like a stupid fucking way. At least now some of them are talking
Stupid.
about like how, they'll talk about the light side of things too. And like you need to know the shadow to know you're like lighter, blah, 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 whatever. Carl Jung shit though is a little more tied, I think, to some of this stuff and like this risk-taking behavior and like our desire for danger, in that like your shadow tells you a whole lot. It is the hidden and darker impulses that you have. And like it's not about like making peace with them, but it's about like looking at what are those risky or taboo behaviors or desires in you, and how can you embrace them versus
Embrace
shun
them.
them? Yeah,
Embrace it. And the funny thing is that the more you embrace those dark sides and just like make peace with them, the more likable you become. Yeah,
absolutely.
because
Because
it's
you're
that,
more you
yeah, because it's that authenticity piece.
and
When
you're
I,
layered.
yeah. And then it's like, if people can relate to that and they're like,
Yes.
instead of this perfection bubble that,
Yeah.
is
And that's
placed
that
upon
magnetic
everyone.
energy, I think, of like, I,
Mhm.
I would never just lay down on the sidewalk in the middle of New York City. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, that's that, like, I wish I could. Like, look at them just doing everything. Like, they're not hiding that impulse. Like, that's so interesting. Obviously, healthy shit, you guys, healthy fucking impulses and whatever.
Mhm.
Not like criminal activity here.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. No
Not
murder.
no stabbings, no matter how
No
intimate that
stabbings,
might
no
feel.
murders. Please don't stab me. I don't want that. But just know that I'll come out of it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
No thievery. Yeah.
Yeah. Abraham Maslow
Mhm.
has like that concept of peak experiences. I'm just kind of like going to go over like a couple little things here of like where this shows up in like research and whatever. Um, Peak experience, right? Everybody always just says that, but like there's real peak experiences, and peak experiences are what lead to self-actualization. Literally, like you were saying, you just that
Mhm.
like you're more magnetic at that point when you are an actualized self. But they to achieve peak experience, it's triggered by high risk situations, big
Mhm.
intense emotions that feel scary, but you go lean into them, right? And like it's those crazy, extraordinary feelings that elevate your consciousness, I think. So this brings about a lot of the spiritual, I think, growth that people experience too. Like a peak experience is like people find it, and even when they're bad, right? Like it's like peak might be the bad, like a wrong word, but like those like really fucking intense, wild experiences. That's more like a hallmark experience, I guess, or like a defining experience of your life or something. I would consider that to be a peak
You
experience, even if it's not
learn
good.
more about yourself and about life in the bad times, perceived
Hmm.
bad times. The good times are a reward for being brave enough to muck through your shit.
I'm like, I mean, I think that like spiritual stuff, that's why like a lot of people come to this, right, in a vulnerable space because something awful has happened to them. They find some sort of spiritual awakening through that. That is like you're more susceptible to the spiritual side of things at that point and to like start hanging on to that. I think in a peak moment that's really good, it's harder to almost like embrace spirituality because you're sitting there like reveling or like are you being cocky? Because then you get knocked off that fucking peak, bitch. So like find like when you are in those like positive peak experiences, I think like taking that time to appreciate the spiritual significance of that. Like what is that doing to your soul at that
And
point?
staying grounded. It's so true because it is so wild. I mean, I've been seeing this a lot. I'm like, like celebrate yourself, but careful. Like,
Mhm.
don't be, like arrogance. There's no place for that here. Be confident, but we don't need to be arrogant. And then what happens? Everybody, you lose. You
Yeah.
lose whatever was just given to you because you didn't appreciate it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Astronauts experience this as well in an interesting way. Like they take like like what a significant
Oh
risk
my
of
God.
going into fucking outer space.
Insane.
It's called the overview effect. I actually didn't re-look this up. I just knew this in my head. So I think it's called the overview effect. Now I'm questioning it. But that's like, what a high risk, crazy, dangerous fucking thing. But they like do it. They just want to do it. They're thrill seekers in that way. But it's well studied that astronauts experience this feeling of unity consciousness and this collective like connectivity to like everything, and they come back to Earth, and sometimes it can actually go a sad route where they feel like isolated now when again Earth if they're not, I think,
Yeah.
engaging the spiritual side of life. But a lot of them just find a spiritual self through that, and it's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
I wonder how the dudes who went on the Boeing rocket ship. I mean, they didn't even bring extra pairs of clothes, and Boeing's like, "Oh, you're gonna be up there for not probably a year, a
They
year."
found God. They
Oh my
found
God! And now
God.
I just saw something where there was a knocking, and they're like, yeah, there's a knocking on this ship. I'm sorry, Boeing, get your shit together. You're out here murdering whistleblowers, you evil." And there's a big old plant in Charleston, but y'all need to do better. It's not cool. You sent those poor people up to space, and they had to drop off. They were like, we have to cut weight. So they're like, we probably won't need that. It's just a quick mission. We won't need an extra pair of clothes. And now you're up there with that one pair of undies. Oh no.
It's insane. Insane. I can't even, oh
And it
my
hasn't
God.
even gotten that much news coverage. I'm
I
like,
know you really don't see much about it. It's kind of a super significant moment. Like,
yeah, Boeing blew it. Surprise.
literally. Um, rites of passage. This is like, there are many versions of rites of passage, but this is just to like put it in like cultural contexts, like, traditions and shit. Like, but they can feel dangerous. Like a lot of rites of
Mhm.
passage, right, can really actually feel like
Yeah.
very like I'm walking up to the edge of the cliff moment, even if it's
Yeah.
like, like a fucking you could be your quinceañera, literally, and you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta like fucking like put on this dress in front of all these people and do a dance or whatever. Or
Dance.
like,
Yeah.
like there can be such terrifying feelings of that sort of stuff. Like, and I'm thinking more like at an indigenous end where it's like the walking over the coals shit, where it's like that's danger, but this is
Yeah.
this like significant moment that brings you into it's like some of this is not just like, yes, personal growth and spiritual growth, but like some of it are like the signifiers of like I'm an adult, I'm an autonomous person, I am like my own choice maker
I
now,
have a bad. Yeah.
yeah. um Again, like with it's like the high risk behaviors stuff, really.
I
But
definitely engaged in this. Like that was my jam. Like when I was younger, like bungee jumping, and then we had to take it up a notch when I lived in New Zealand. We went. I was like, okay, we gotta make this better. So then we went topless, and like now I think about it, we're 21. Like we're like topless. There's families like. There, they're gonna find the DVD of it, but it was just like, and no one even batted an eye. I sent out like topless photos of me and my best friend, like just titties out,
dude,
jumping off.
yeah, that is
Oh, to be young.
Megan has no fears anymore. Like she got rid of all those by age 7. Oh my God. I'm so wild, but it's inspiring. It's fun to like watch somebody who is living that kind of like daring life, right?
Yeah.
And thrill-seeking activities increase dopamine. Dopamine is linked to spiritual experiences. Go fucking figure, right? So,
Mhm.
yay. Um, it's also an evolutionary thing a little bit, like why we are fascinated by danger. If you just want to look at it that way, like our survival literally depended on hunting dangerous animals and exploring new
Mhm.
territories. We had no idea what the fuck was going to happen, and we were always putting ourselves in those situations. There's even, evolutionarily speaking, an adventure gene that was discovered, I think, in
Oh.
2016. I saw a 2016 study, but literally, I mean, I'm sure it's like got a scientific name, but they're calling it the adventure gene. That's found in 20% of the population. So this is not like, rare. Like
Yeah.
people literally want adventure and they desire new experiences and dangerous activities like skydiving, right? Go for it. Like
Mhm.
do it if you got that gene. If not, it's going to be maybe a little harder for you. There's another one that's like a little more that's called the sensation seeking scale. I meant to actually look that up. I'll try and look that
Mhm.
up. And if I can find one like online, I don't know if it's like a test you can take online or whatever, but 30% of people score high on the sensation seeking scale. If you seek sensation, in an
I think
intense
I
way like
have
that.
this.
Yeah,
I
you
think I
probably, I'm
have.
sure you
I
do.
think
I'm
I
sure you
have
do.
these genes.
Same with
Yeah.
the adventure gene. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure you
Yeah.
have both of those. So I think those are things that it's like, yeah, you're going to be more prone to answering the call to the void, probably. So understanding
Mhm.
if you got that shit is good. If you don't, you want to like develop that toolkit a little bit, right? There's a book there about like the guy who developed the sensation seeking scale that I will also link below. It's called Sensation Seeking Beyond the Optimal Level of Arousal.
It is like it's not like sexually, or I mean it can be,
Right.
but it's like this. I don't know. It's like when once I get something and it's grinding my gears, I gotta do it. It'll haunt me. And like that's why like competing is so like because that it's hard and it sucks and it's amazing and it's
Mhm.
just so and I bet most addicts have this
I would bet, actually,
yeah.
yeah. I that feels like very normal. And that was one of the very common like examples I would keep coming across in different situations in this too, is like even just like drugs in general. Like those
Yeah.
are dangerous experiences that you're putting yourself into, like they
Yeah.
can be if you're not Ryan. I'm so serious. I don't know, like I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
you're drugged.
I got some weird, like, I don't even know, man. It's probably like the
You
most
pursued
like
things very differently.
I
Yeah.
just do. I just do. And I'm so careful about
Yeah.
that. I really am. Anyway, that's one of them. It's dangerous, but it brings spiritual big experiences, peak moments, right?
Hmm.
This is like a little sidestep, but just to kind of like add some extra weight to the topic is like near death experiences. It's unintentional.
Yeah.
Like you typically aren't trying to like put yourself in harm's way or take some risk that brings you into like a brush with death. But how many fucking near death experience stories are there where it's like a peak experience and a spiritual experience that comes from that, right?
Yep.
So, definitely not like the moral of this episode is not
Yeah, don't be
go
dumb.
have a
Don't
near
go
death experience.
yeah, don't go
It's not
seeking
that. Yeah.
NDE. We're not going to have you on our podcast if you've done this. So
Yeah.
don't think
But
you're going to
baby steps, even if it's that
Yeah.
like, I like your jacket and that's a stranger, I'm going to go tell them that is an uncertain outcome. It's not controlled. That person could be having a shit day and it could be a petty Betty who's like, fuck off, you know?
Or they could have a shit day and be like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. That means so much to me."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And either way, you're going to feel a sense of relief because like, couldn't go worse if they well, I don't know. They could stab you. I'm just kidding. But that's uncertain. But that's you facing that fear. You know what I mean? It's going to be easier. It's oh shit. It's
I
going to be
gave someone a compliment. They stabbed me. I'm like, well, you good. You came out. Let's try
so
again.
serious. Yeah,
Give
exactly.
somebody
And
else
it'll
a
be
compliment.
easier. It'll be easier next
The
time.
next person won't stab you.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be easier if it's a bad outcome. You won't feel as like it's as hard. And if it's a good outcome, you're going to just be motivated to do more. So
Yeah.
they're really like not a bad outcome, even if the outcome seems
If
bad.
someone's a dick, that's on them, not you. You know, like if someone's, that's the thing. If someone's like having a bad day and being outwardly aggressive, I'm like, what are you, what's wrong with, what's going on?
Yeah, like I mean, if there's a really big streak, I mean, I don't want to like be like fucking Pollyanna about all this shit because like I am a very big believer in like not cutting off someone's ability to give. Like obviously that'd be you being a dick, but it can really hinder other people. Like if somebody's trying to help
Yeah.
often or give gifts or whatever, it's like if you don't receive, if you're not learning to receive what
Hmm.
people give, then you're cutting off their ability to give and you're conditioning them to think what I have to offer the world is not good enough and they will stop giving. So it can actually have a harmful effect. I just want to
Yeah.
say that, but that's like, extreme. Okay, so then I want to talk about like I guess what is that in line between intuition and impulse? Because that is like
Mhm.
a spiritual filter, I think that like people will need to develop within this. So like,
Yeah.
and I'm saying this too because I think like if you're listening to the call of the void, the universe, your
Yeah.
soul's calling, whatever. It just brings me to that idea of intuition, needing to hear intuition or understand it. I guess it could be signs from the universe, whatever the fuck that is. But I think that the call of the universe is like the language of the soul, and you need to know how to communicate. So how do you
Uh,
know?
I think also the older you get, like I was really impulsive when I was younger,
Yeah,
like,
me
and
too.
now, yeah. So, and
I
now
still am.
I will sit because I know what like I went to jail over an impulse when I was in MU. So it's like, for a practical joke gone wrong. But so I really know that I can take things too far. So impulsivity, like when I want to fuck you up and read you your rights and tell you exactly what you think, I'm like, I don't need to do that. I need to get off that and let me just sit with this. And then your intuition, it rattles, man. You cannot hide from yourself. So it's that rattling.
Yeah, it's funny because yes, it rattles, but I also feel like it's an unshakable feeling. So it's like it rattles,
Yeah.
but it's unshakable. You can't
Oh yeah,
fucking
you're
do
not
anything about it.
exactly. You can't rattle your
It's
way out of
there.
it. It's going to be there and it creeps in from your gut to your heart and like it will overtake so many different like senses, so it won't be like that feeling. Like feelings, I'm always like, okay, I need to like wait.
Mhm.
But it'll start in, like that knowingness, that feeling, and then it's an all-consuming rattle.
And even if you don't know what the outcome is, I feel like with intuition, there's like a purpose for that. Like I'm supposed to get something from this with an irrational desire, impulse that's like not your intuition. I think it's just about like knowing how to stop yourself in that moment and at least question it and be like, what's the point of that? Even though that's like tempting to do. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I want to go pull my teacher's pants down. Like that intrusive thought kind of feeling. Why? Well, how will that help me in any
And I
way?
think if you're, I think learning how to control your sexual impulses, that's one of
Oof.
the greatest things that
Are you
any
listening,
person can do.
Scorpios?
God, are you listening?
Are you fucking listening, Scorpio? Put
No,
the
they're
stinger back.
no, they're not because they don't support. Not all Scorpios,
Not all
just
Scorpios, not all anybody,
just
for sure.
you.
For
The
sure.
girl Scorpios, female Scorpios, y'all are lovely. We're talking
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
dude.
Um, and this feels like I think a little obvious, but like you gotta fucking work on the intuition. I felt that when I was putting this together again, this was one of those moments where I felt the call of the void because I feel like I don't want to say I'm being impulsive right now in life, but I feel like I'm reacting a lot and it's like very uncertain about things. And I'm
Mhm.
not feeling, I have strong gut feelings about stuff. Like in general, I do, but I don't now. Like my gut is not telling me clear things to do, meaning I, my realization here was like I have not been working on my intuition. I am not
Yeah.
meditating. I do not remember the last time I fucking meditated. Like so serious. So like this
Yeah.
made me realize I need to have do more mindfulness techniques. I need to get back. I used to do like nighttime walks every night. Now I'm still doing like a couple nights a week because I just need to like get out of my apartment sometimes. But like I need to like get in the habit of it because I feel very like it's my version of meditation, or I just need to meditate, whatever.
Mhm.
Meditation, mindfulness techniques will not only sharpen your intuition, but they also calm down your desire to act on irrational impulses. They calm that. So this is a good thing on both ends of it. So I need to do that. Uh
Yeah.
I also wanted to bring this up too of like downsides of not answering the call, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't need to do that. I don't need to jump off the cliff or lay down in the middle of a busy street.
Yes, you do.
Sure, don't do it. But what happens if you don't? This was a good time to bring up multiple discovery, which you've been talking
I
about
love,
forever.
yeah, Elizabeth Gilbert. I first heard about it in her book Big Magic. And what I love is how multiple discovery has happened with science labs. Because okay, an idea, a book idea, but when it's science and these labs have not communicated, so go ahead and tell the people what multiple discovery is.
Multiple discovery is literally just the idea of if you don't do it, someone else is going to. And until quantum physics or whatever can find a way to fucking really prove this, the idea of it is that the universe operates in a collective field of ideas and that inspiration itself, these calls from the void, are in a collective consciousness, which is Pisces, by the way. So that is you being tapped into the flow. But if you're tapped in, so is someone else. That's why sometimes Megan and I, that's why we do serendipity. That's literally
Mhm.
in our first serendipity episode, the explanation of it and like our description of the serendipity sessions is if we don't know what to talk about, we're going to just get in the flow and have a conversation. Because if it's on our
Mhm.
minds, it's on someone else's minds.
Yep.
Somebody else is tapped into this shit too. That is
Yep.
what it is. So if you are tapped in and you're shutting the door on that, somebody else is going to do what you should be doing. It's not to say
Mhm.
they're taking your fate, like they've grabbed your destiny or something
Yeah.
and stolen it. It's a it's an open access thing up there. I mean, like people,
Hmm.
so and examples like you said too, like that aren't, it's different than like, oh dang, I had that book idea or that invention idea,
Yeah.
Two examples that are like old examples. Calculus. Fucking calculus was developed in the 17th century. There was not technology and people on phones and shit like talking about
Yeah.
this. Calculus was independently developed simultaneously by two different people, Isaac Newton and some other guy. Calculus.
Sorry, other guy.
I know, I should remember. Well, it's a name people have heard before. It's not a normal name though.
Yeah.
And then also the theory of natural selection. Like that
Yeah.
a whole fucking theory of natural selection, which is still fucking taught in schools, was developed independently and simultaneously. Excuse
That's
me?
so cool.
Like
Yeah.
weird. Also, calculus. Are you fucking kidding? Just all calculus?
Yeah. In the 17th century. Yeah.
Like that's insane to me. So
It's so cool.
Kidding calculus. Check it out.
Siri is talking. So I like triggered Siri on my phone and she's like, I found this about calculus. Fuck off, Siri. Siri's the call from the void. So, okay. No, so that's one downside. Okay. But it's not just that. It's like, it's not just that somebody else is going to do it if you don't. It's even, I think it even, that just doubles the feeling of not acting on the call from the void.
Mhm.
If you see somebody else answer that call when you should have, not answering it, not following your intuition, essentially can lead to spiritual stagnation,
Ugh.
increased fear. You're gonna by not facing the fear, it increases. You're feeding it.
110%. It chases you down the street. If
Yes.
you don't fear, this is when I talk about fear being a great motivator because you have to turn and face it and look at it. Otherwise, it grows exponentially. Who is going to check your fear? The only person who can check that is you. You've got to
Mhm.
have the kahunas to turn around and take a look at it.
Yes. Yes. And if you don't, then it also increases your self-doubt. Not fun.
Mhm.
Not fun. So the fear just grows and it just feels like harder and harder and harder to do these things that you want to do.
Mhm.
It leads to unfulfilled potential, which sucks.
Oh,
Missed opportunities. Like you realize that like that's a shitty feeling. Like I should have
coulda,
fucking
woulda,
done that when I had
shoulda.
the chance. Yes. Ew. Coulda,
Ew.
woulda, shoulda. Yuck. Existential regret. Ew, regret in general, but like the existential regret is like
Oh
bad. Like that is that
no.
like that just feels ugh. And then just like I think the worst one, honestly, is the discontent
Yes.
within your soul. You are dissatisfied with your life purpose. That to me is the point, not to go to the morbid route, but that's where you're going to start questioning the meaning of your existence. And that's where I think from the call of the void, it can go into that real depressing, suicidal tendency territory.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think discontent within your soul, you're gonna experience that, but that is when you have got to move. Because the thing is that when you are there, you're not going to want to move. You're not gonna feel like moving. And the only way to get out of that is through movement. No one's coming to save you. The
Mhm.
only person who's coming to save you is yourself. You might have helpers here and there, but you have got to do the work to get you out of it. Oh God, fuck that. No.
Yeah. I also saw this thing. I cannot remember where I saw it or who said this. I'm sure it's like something that's been, I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll try to look it up and put it in the description. But spiritual bungee jumping. I just thought that was an easy way to tag. It's like the practice of getting into this because it's like the theory of that is trust in the cord, surrender to the fall. What a dangerous thing. Sure, that cord could snap. You don't know. You don't know. Okay. But
Mhm.
you fucking go for it. Okay. So how can you spiritual bungee jump right now in life? And every day, and it'll get
Mhm.
bigger. You'll do bigger risk taking things, right? But you will fucking grow hands fucking down way more than if you didn't do this, any of this.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you're wasting away if you're not taking risks.
All day.
This was an interesting question to me that I was like, we're basically wrapping up here. This is not my ending, but like, do you feel that you have a responsibility to act on intuition? Do you think that's a responsibility people have? I feel like that's a weird word or an interesting word to
Yeah.
apply to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You absolutely because you are responsible to yourself. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for you. So yes, you absolutely have a calling. You have that. And if you don't you dare open your fat fucking mouth and complain, because you have the power and you also have the ability to ignore it. So yeah, and not only is it a responsibilities are honors. To be busy is an honor. And I think people forget that. We're just in such a complacent spot in life where, there's a certain level of laziness. If you just remotely try at anything, you can have an abundant amount of success. It has never been easier to do anything, but yet we're conditioned to believe that it's not. I mean, like, you should, that's why it burns my biscuit so much. Like, get up on your ass and move.
That's where I think some of the multiple discovery stuff comes in too, because it's like, sure, it's never been easier to do anything. Caveat to that in my mind would be, but a lot of things are already being done and saturated, and those are hard to do. Like, I know, literally, I just talked to two different people in the past like week who are legit incredibly successful at what they do, like such killer resumes, have been applying for so many jobs and cannot find anything. They're in saturated fields. It's hard out there. So it is hard in that sense. But that's where this shit comes in. If you are answering the call to the void and you're probably going to ask you to do something fucking weird, probably not drive in traffic in that sense, but it's like, it's going to ask you to do something that you haven't done.
They ask you to pivot. Yeah.
Yes, that's this uncharted territory, which you will be able to do. It's never been easier to do these things, but it's probably going to be something new. So you're going to be fucking like unsure and uncertain of where it's going to go. But that's probably even better. I think people will have much better time finding success with those sorts of things rather than trying to like
opportunities. Yeah, because then you're signaling like, okay, I'm trying. And when you're doing that, and when you're open, and also being open to the possibilities. So it's not just enough to try. You have to be open to the possibilities, and you have to be open to new. And especially as we get older, there is such a lack of interest, and people don't want new friends. They don't want you fuckers have been trying. There's something to be said about loyalty. Don't get me wrong, but and knowing people, but create newness. I see this in the retreats all the time. I'm like, so I'll have a smaller retreat and then a larger retreat, and all the girls are like, I like the smaller ones. And I'm like, yes, because you have a connection now. But remember, all of you never knew each other before this time.
Yeah.
And then you've been here for 2 or 3 times, and look at you. There's going to be another you that's coming in that's going to make a magical connection here. And we're going to be like, how do we ever have life without you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, dude. Yes. I have multiple people in my life just this week that I felt that way about, where I was like, I feel that way about them, but I also know they feel that way about me. And I'm like, we've recently met and we already feel like,
home. You feel like home. You feel like just like a sweet little hug or a nice warm cup. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're following that thing, that call to the void, or trying to do something, especially if it's something brand new, you're not trying to like join a saturated market, you're trying to really fucking do something new because it's a calling or something, right? It can require, to go back to the destruction idea, right? To create means to destroy a lot. So, and the self-sabotage sometimes, right? If your life is falling apart through self-sabotage, or if the calling is going to require a destruction, burn it in flames. You know what I mean? Fucking, you gotta to make burn that choice to do it. Yeah. Well, maybe, like as kindly as you can or whatever, maybe not burn a bridge, but like your life may have to fundamentally be altered so that you can fucking answer the call from the void.
And if you're in a saturated market, though, I want to say, because there is room for everyone, do something different. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, then you need to ask yourself, how can I set myself apart and do something different? And maybe you need to humble yourself in that process in order to do that.
That would be the thing, like the humbling of the self and accepting that, because it's like, in order to do that calling of the soul, it might take a fuck ton of resources that you don't have. So that might mean you gotta fucking do some bitch work or whatever for a minute, like while you get that lined up, but you're moving toward it and it'll help, so serious. I can't even tell you, I'm not gonna give my personal details out, but I can't tell you, like, I'm like shocked at like how I'm just like still sitting right here where I'm at right now. And the amount of times I thought it was not going to be possible for me that I wouldn't be sitting literally physically right here where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to listen and I'm humbling myself in many fucking ways right now, but I am here, and I feel better and I do get that sensation. It's not quick, but I'm getting a sensation of moving toward things that are meant for me. So this is like my ending to this that I think is really cool. It's putting things into a bit of different context, but I'm bringing up the destruction thing again. I'm also bringing up this like slow burn destruction of my life, right? That was literally just alluding to right here. That's not even what I mean. Wasn't even going to bring that up, but it's true. Like how long, Megan knows, like how long have I been like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just this slow burn, right? So, but this is so funny. Like I wasn't even putting it in that context for me. That none of this was personal. I just thought this was fucking beautiful. This is huge on a big universal level. There are 5 theories to how the end of the universe will come.
Uh-huh.
One of the really big ones is called heat death. Heat death. It is the end game, I guess. It's the end. It's the end of the universe, but it happens because it believes in the theory of entropy. Okay, entropy is basically saying that like the universe is expanding and growing and like it's getting more and more disorganized. It's getting more and more chaotic over time, right? Right now, like you can kind of think of it logically a little bit. And also there's a book I'm going to recommend here. I have not read the book. It's been sitting in my Amazon cart forever. I'm like dying to read it and I'm not super studied on this. So just like bear with me if you're a fucking scientist and I'm like kind of misrepresenting it. It's the symbolic and spiritual meaning that I'm really getting to here. I think is like still intact. But like think of the solar system. It's like spins, like astrology. It feels predictable. It's spinning, like, and we know when planets are moving. That's not chaotic. You know what I mean? Like we know that's predictable. But as the universe expands, we lose heat. There's a heat death, right? Things get colder and colder and colder. So things are going to slow down. We could fucking run into another galaxy at some point and just boom. And then we don't know the predictability of the planets at that point anymore. The whole 3-body problem, the book series I was so obsessed with earlier this year, and now it's like a Netflix series, is all about 3 suns that are orbiting each other. That is just having 3 bodies that orbit each other is an unpredictable, chaotic experience.
Yeah.
Science cannot predict where those planets will be at any point. They cannot.
Yeah.
So we are moving toward this theory of the end of everything is saying that there will be a death of heat, a death of energy, and in that process, life will become more chaotic. Okay.
Yeah.
It's depressing a little bit thinking about this here. But it's not. Like, this is so fucking cool to me because and why it relates to me is like, I think it's my Virgo South Node speaking, to be honest. Like I was very organized in a past life and now I'm not, but I can't, whatever. But it's hard. Like I still have that like thing in me that like will prevent me from leaning into the chaos of things, which is Pisces. It's fucking whatever, the surrender to that. Right. Yeah. And that's my North Node. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. So, but it's hard because you think, like, I know what chaos feels like. I don't like feeling super scattered. Me as a Gemini saying that's rich. But like, really, it's like, I would like to be able to control my life a little more. You know, it's like, what a nice fucking thing that would be. That's like kind of not what's happening. And just in the way that the universe is moving, like we are moving into chaos. How can we flow with that? Right. But we're scared of that. Like, I don't want to put myself in an unpredictable situation because chaos, right? Terrifying, scary.
Yeah.
And I don't want to blow up the life I have, the comfort zone that I have. I don't want that to change. I know these feelings so much.
Yeah.
Hate it. There is a song I came across in May that I am obsessed with. I've been listening to it like ever since. I like love it so fucking much. It's called Heat Death. And she made this video about why she wrote the song. And she wrote it because she read this book that's been sitting in my Amazon cart forever. And the book is called The End of Everything by Katie Mack. The song and the book are linked in the show notes. The song is amazing. It's like, it feels like a 90s kind of like synth pop song, but then this gospel choir comes in at the end too. It's so fucking good. But the song is about the decay, the chaos, right? That a relationship is going through. So her and this person are separating as the universe is expanding, right?
Mhm.
And it's becoming chaotic and you can't control that anymore. And it's dying, right? Like the heat's going away. That's going to be the fucking end of everything. So the song's actually called Heat Death, parentheses, the end of everything. But here's the cool fucking glimmer of hope that I want to give fucking everybody. Apply it to your life however you want to. I thought it was beautiful in the relational sense here, where you think there's all hope is lost. It's a full blown fucking heat death, the end of everything.
Yeah.
At the end of everything, though, it's a very, very fucking sliver of a chance that this would be the possibility, but it's a possibility, which is all that fucking matters. At
Mhm.
the end of everything, time itself will cease to exist. And I'm not saying this in the right scientific terms. I'm not an expert at this, but I know that I'm doing the right thing. Time will not exist. And in the way that that occurs, time travel will be possible. So the song, and in that theory, is to say, when it all goes to shit, when you blow up that life and you think it's fucking over and I will never have that again and I'm moving into chaos, it's the end of everything. There can be that moment where you get to then have that choice to travel back in time, do it again, re-meet that person. So the whole thing in the song is like, I'll meet you at the end of everything. Because it's like, maybe it's not working right now. Maybe it's not going to happen right now, you know? And there's so many situations in life where that occurs. You literally think it's the end of it, you know? There's someone in my life that I had fully said goodbye to. Blessed to have them back in my life now. You know what I mean? It's frustrating as they can be sometimes. Like, no, but I mean, like, I know what it's like without them. And so now I cherish them in a way that I just can't believe that I got to like know them again. It happens. Jobs, right? Like all sorts of things. I'm literally thinking about leaving LA, right? Like, just like put that out there for anybody who doesn't already fucking know. And I know I've been talking about it or alluding to it at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to go into chaos. I don't want to go fucking. I don't fucking know what. I don't know. I don't want
Yeah.
to. I like my life here, even though it is decaying in many fucking ways, and I can't
Yeah.
do anything about it right now. Should I leave? Should I leave? By the way, I'm being a stubborn bitch right now.
Yeah, you
And as I've actually tried to make peace with leaving, every fucking time a couple things come in that like it's literally like the universe being
I
like,
know.
do not fucking move, dude. No, I'm so serious. Like a couple things lately, even I'm serious. Like a week ago, I was literally about to call it completely. And then two things happened in the same fucking day that were just like, stay, fucking sit, like opportunities. And just out of nowhere. Yeah. So, anyway, but like, if I make that decision to fucking leave that I don't want to do, I don't know what that's going to be. It's going to be the end of everything here that I know. I don't want that. There's still that glimmer of hope after it's over, after it ends, that I'll be able to come back. I could restart a whole life here again. I could do something again. It's never really over. You know what I mean? That's basically the
I
theory
got
of
it.
this.
I got it. Yeah.
Isn't that a beautiful, hopeful fucking thing to like
Yeah.
just make someone like lean into the chaos, lean into your fear, take that fucking risk, tell that person you love them, even if you feel like you're gonna get rejected, bitch, because you could get to redo it all over again too. You know, one day if you think it's over, who knows?
And there's nothing worse than a missed opportunity. I just
Nothing.
think that, truly, there is nothing that I'm grappling with some missed opportunities that I missed, and it's such a mind fuck, like, and don't let stubbornness, because that's what happened. I let
No.
me and this other person let stubbornness and like, and not communicating, and now we're in this spot where we're both like, I can't believe we're here.
Yeah. And like, see, like you could save yourself from that like frustration and pain and whatever, right? If you hadn't if you took advantage of the opportunity when it was there.
The thing is that now that missed opportunity, I'm not missing the opportunity to learn now.
Well, that's good.
Like,
That's good. I think if it really is a regret, like if somebody out there has got like a missed opportunity, I think you need to live your life like it's not coming back. You missed the boat, but
Mhm.
there can be that fucking little glimmer
That's all you need.
at a certain
Yeah.
point where you can transport yourself right back there to get that opportunity back. Like it's literally
I think that there is always, I don't care what anybody says, there is always an opportunity to make it right.
there
And
is
there is always hope. And so, so if you've missed an opportunity with someone, don't ever think that you can't make the opportunity to make it right, because you can, and that you can't, like that you can't get something back, because I truly
absolutely,
can at any time. As long as
absolutely
they're on Earth. If they're not in their flesh suit, then you're kind of SOL.
right. But even in that perspective, it's like you don't know what's going to happen when you die. You have no idea. We want to
Exactly.
theorize and whatever. And like, if any fucking spiritual teacher you are listening to tells you they fucking know what happens when you're fucking out of
They
this
do not.
existence,
Run.
run, run. But really, like that, you don't know. You could fucking, when you die, you could be that time travel moment. It's the end of everything. It's the end of your life. You might be able to time travel right back and do it all over again. That could be the karmic wheel we're on. Who the fuck knows? But I think that is a beautiful theory of the end of the universe, and how at the end of everything we can just go back and get what we want. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Love
With
it. But when it's here right now, why risk that? That's the
Yes.
risk that you don't want to take, I think.
Seize the day.
Take advantage
Yeah.
of it now.
Seize the motherfucking day, people. Carpe diem. Carpe
I know.
noctem.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
"say la vie," but I was like, "That's not it, is it?"
Yeah.
Seize the day. Carpe diem. That's it.
But we can say "c'est la vie." I think that's
C'est
like
la
live
vie.
life to close
Like,
it out.
Such is life or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't know other languages. And that's not the call of my soul. The void is not telling me to learn other languages. I've tried. I suck. We're closing it out. This is not the end of everything, but is the end of this episode. Thank
Yeah.
you all.
C'est la
And
vie.
yeah, go fucking do something daring.
And if you need any help, hit me up, because that's what I'm known for. I'll get your ass moving.
Absolutely. And I will read your birth chart and show you where Pisces is in your chart. And that's where the call from the void is coming. It's where the call from the void is coming, dude. All right.
All right.
Bye.